Okay, Coach Chat 8, and today, hang on, I'm ready to go. Today we are talking about powerlifting in Australia, and the future of powerlifting in Australia, where powerlifting is at right now, in terms of people doing it, and who's doing it, and who's not doing it, and comps, and what's happening, because powerlifting in Australia at the moment just got real good. When I'm talking about powerlifting, I'm referring to natural tested powerlifting in Australia, because powerlifting, there's two different types of communities. Either of them are better than each other, but we just are involved with the tested powerlifting community in Australia. And my 2 cents about that is powerlifting in Australia just got really good.
I think powerlifting in Australia has always been
Good.
somewhat good, but no one's been as together in one sort of federation or one community as it is at the moment, because of the divide that happened a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I think before that we had PA, where everyone was in PA, and it was really good then. Yeah,
back in 2012, 13, 14, 15, I remember I went to Nationals and it was in Brisbane at the Expo. And I remember, am I correct in saying that? Is that Nationals?
We had a Nationals in Brisbane, yep.
Man, it was sick.
Mm-hmm. Same as the ones in Melbourne. The Expo Nationals were really good back in the day.
It was fucking sick. Like, I remember I think I handled Colin, and I remember it went down to the last deadlift.
Yeah, I think that would have been against Will Phillips.
Yep. Yeah, it was actually. And then I didn't see that for years.
Yes, because...
And we were idling. I was idling because I was on the... Because you went over straight away.
Yeah, I was one of the first people that was... obviously my goal is to go to IPF Worlds.
Yep.
It's always been what I wanted to do.
Yep.
So as soon as that door closed being with PA, I just went.
Yeah, and like Perth as a team was growing then. Mm-hmm. It was still small. We had a bunch of athletes who'd done just locals and one who'd done Oceanias. But the Oceanias was in the middle of a split, and just as the split started in 2019.
Yeah, I remember not being very competitive as soon as it happened. It was like everyone was in limbo kind of, they just didn't know.
And it was really disappointing. Mm-hmm. It was really good setup. It was an awesome setup. We were in an RSL, and it was really it was run really well. But what was disappointing is there was no competition.
Yeah.
And in powerlifting, it's a really boring sport to watch if there's no competition.
It really is.
It really is. Unless you are competing or coaching, if there's no battles, it's boring, and that's just the way it is in the sport. So like we were idling and didn't know what to do. And then we just needed competitions. Like I literally made the decision to come over because the athletes needed somewhere to go. It had nothing to do with politics. It had nothing to do with Perth hating anybody, or you know what I mean. We just needed somewhere to lift.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It's kind of the other thing too is like when PA was big and the PA was the biggest federation in Australia. There was all these battles and people were pushing each other to new lengths.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the 74s one year, or anyone could have won it. Yeah. Any lifter could have won that weight class down from like the 1st to 8th almost.
Well, that's what the 93 men's are this year.
Yeah, that's what multiple weight classes are like.
Yeah. Yours too, man.
No.
No, not yours this year. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Go Steve. Women's.
Yeah, it's
the women's.
It's great. It's
76
huge.
women, you know. There's one big dog, and then there's going to be fighting for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, which it doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's like...
Yeah.
If you're there, like, if you get a chance, like, they can also fuck up, like...
Yeah, exactly. They've got to go 9-9, and was it you that said on your story the other day? You have to go 9 from 9.
Yeah, there's someone that's literally... They're chasing you right now, and they want it. So if you're not working, like, you know, you're an underdog all the time now.
Yeah.
Someone's just going to be out working you. They're coming after that.
Yeah, I think it's really important to acknowledge that organisations and, you know, businesses in general have teething issues when they first start.
Yeah. Yeah, always.
You know, like, geez, man, like Perth I started with just me and then grew and grew and grew. And, you know, when we moved in here last year, there were so many teething issues.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the problems as also with teething issues is people wanting to feel valued in organisations.
Yeah, which comes down to the community and the athletes and what's going on with everything in powerlifting at the moment and through, I guess, APU. Which is people aren't feeling, I guess, valued really. They aren't feeling like they're a part of it.
Yep.
We're basically being, I guess it feels like we're being owned, which is really hard. I guess that's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, it's got to be put out there.
Because else we're going to fall down the same rabbit hole again. We're going to have a huge divide. Who knows who's going to go where? I know that like the best of the best, the ones that want to go to IPF Worlds are obviously going to stay, but we'll just end up in the same state as the States, where you have the best that stayed and then the rest went to stay with the USAPL.
Yeah.
And if that happens here...
We don't want that.
No, we don't.
We don't want that.
Though, it's still going to mean that the competition at local level is going to be phenomenal because, you know, everyone will go together. But, you know, the best ain't going to be the best because the best has stayed. But at the same time, I think collectively everyone needs to get together to make a decision rather than just... because it's kind of all talk at the moment. I know there's a lot of people that are saying they're going, but no one's pulled the trigger. Everyone seems like everyone's waiting for a moment, and then it's going to happen. But I honestly feel like everyone needs to sit back, I guess, sit on it, see what happens, because especially this year's Nationals, we're finally going to have everyone there.
This year's Nationals is going to be sick.
And then once we see what that event's like, see if it's something that is worth hanging around for, then start talking more about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But right now, we're really weird time to kind of be throwing it out there because we've only just finished state championships, everyone's kind of qualified. We all know we're going to nationals. Stop talking about what you're going to do after until the job's done.
That's it.
Yeah.
The future of powerlifting in Australia sits with juniors.
Very much so.
Sorry, everybody else, but there are so many juniors right now, and we know that because 9 out of 10 online coaching right now from us is juniors signing up.
Yeah, for sure. They are the future. They're fine. Like what we had in terms of juniors coming through, like junior states in New South Wales. Was
massive. That looked so much fun.
It was.
It looked really, really fun as I was at the top end of Australia.
Yeah, and I
that looked
withdrew myself from competition to be there.
Yeah, that looked so much fun. And juniors, you know, we're looking at sub-juniors too. We've got sub-juniors on our team now. And you look through the list, and I remember a few years ago, there wasn't many juniors. And all of a sudden, there's so many juniors in this sport.
Yeah, well the thing is too, like some of these juniors are on the tails of the opens.
Oh yeah.
Like right there.
To pull for the win for 306 at 105s.
Yeah.
To pull for the win at 306 kilos.
Yeah. Well, Matt.
Some opens. Yeah. Hey. Talking about Matt. I always call him. That's huge.
Yeah. Considering he is 1 year into being a junior.
That's what I'm saying. That's massive.
Last year, yeah.
There are some opens who haven't even hit that in that weight class.
Yeah. We have some phenomenal athletes finally coming through Australia because it's like we're getting started at a good age.
Younger, and this is like as a sport, and you know I don't want to talk federations or anything. As a sport, as a whole, we need to make sure that these guys don't leave the sport, and people leave sports when they're unhappy.
Yeah.
So I grew up as a competitive softball player. There was politics involved. I literally left that sport because I was told that I wasn't going to make the Australian team from a personal issue. And still today, can't stand that sport.
Yeah.
Because of politics. It's got to stop. You know, the juniors and the lifters need to be taken care of.
Just
It's so good to see what Potts put on and that, because they would have felt so like valued in that atmosphere right then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would have been like, fuck yeah, I felt so good on that platform.
Yeah, the whole weekend was phenomenal. The event was amazing. Everything that Aiden did down there was great.
Yeah.
But the juniors especially, it's like their status is the best one that's going to be ran this year. And it's for the juniors.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And it's not discounting opens and it's not discounting masters. We're just talking about the future of people, of the standing of how long they can stay in the sport.
Well, when we look at it, I think I was talking to people down there, and the way they split the states up. So because they got open men's, females, and juniors.
Yep.
It was, from what I heard, I obviously don't know, but Aiden took on whoever had the most sign-ups because he has the biggest venue and the biggest gym to run the event. So they had the most sign-ups for the juniors over men's, and obviously there's males and females in the juniors, but there was the most sign-ups there, so which meant he ran that. Yeah. Which is the way they kind of did it.
That seems fair.
Yeah. But that's obviously why the event was so big, because they had so many sign-ups, so many kids did it.
That's great. You want to have that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we've finally got back again where you can't get into a comp because it's sold out.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome, and being able to run unsanctioned comps around affiliated comps is fantastic. A lot of people don't want to get into the sport because they're scared of getting on the platform without having X numbers, or they don't feel comfortable in a soft suit, or they just want to lift with their friends, or they don't feel like they're ready for a sanctioned meet just yet.
Yeah.
It's really important that we continue to have systems in place where these lifters can get that confidence, because I guarantee there's about 3 or 4 of them from mine that competed in Iron Throne on the weekend that are now thinking about sanctioned comps that weren't before that comp because they were too scared.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and we've got the athletes of your caliber, the ones that, you know, will go to Worlds and strive for that. But a lot of people who are paying money into this sport don't.
Yeah, no,
and it's really important to understand that the majority of people, you know, you've always got your high-level athletes, you've always got the ones who are striving to be a high-level athlete, but the majority of people in these sports are people who don't even have that as an idea.
Yeah, no, it is literally just a hobby for them.
And that's what brings money into a sport and into a business. Perth has literally made business on opening powerlifting up to communities, not just having elite teams.
Yeah.
You know, so as a sport and modernising the sport for the juniors and for people, it's important that powerlifting opens its doors.
Yeah, well, the door's already open.
Not if you have a bunch of rules that prevent people from wanting to compete.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a bunch of rules that prevent people from wanting to compete. I would just say like the atmosphere at the moment isn't very inviting. Yeah. The door's not closed.
I don't think that's been at the moment though. I think that's been ongoing.
It's just been more...
it just goes up and down.
Yeah.
That's why it's really important to have these fun comps and novice comps and open days, and, you know, like even when we had teething issues when we moved in here. Yeah. And Perth got put into an elite status, and I worked really hard to break that down, because I value everybody in the building, and it's important that everybody feels valued in organisations. Yeah. You know? So if we talk about juniors again, what can we do for the juniors? Like what could the sport, or what could us as coaches and you know, comps and stuff, what can we continue to do to make sure these people don't quit?
I think there's nothing that needs to change based on that last weekend. Yeah. That just needs to be the way that it keeps staying. Putting them separate so they have these head-to-head battles, you know, letting the ones that are obviously above the pack, if they want to go straight to the opens, take on the opens, like go for it. But then putting on that junior weekend, I think was an amazing event.
Yeah, the one here or the one at Potts's?
The one down there. like the fact that people came from other states just to do juniors in New South Wales because it was a separate event was great. Like junior Nats has almost already happened because
recycle.
Yeah, we're just kind of recycling it.
Redemption.
Yeah. You got the people that want the redemption. We got these rivalries that have already been created. We've got
that's sick.
Yeah, we've got battles that got to happen again. You know, people are gonna, and they know. We know as coaches who are in these battles. We know athletes. The athletes know what they got to do now. You know, and we've already been there once, and now we get to go back.
Yeah.
And the one that lost, they get to, you know, try and get redemption, and the one person that won's got to, you know, they got to keep them away. So I think that's great. We have these fucking amazing battles that are going to happen again.
Yep.
And we finally get to do that because it's already been done.
Yep.
And now this is what I mean when I wrote on my story about like rivalries and competition and stuff like that. This makes people go to that next level and go find that new gear that they've never found before. And this is what's going to push athletes in Australia to the next level.
Yep.
Because there's finally going to be people that are chipping on each other's tails all the time.
Yep.
Someone that's ready to just take it off you.
Yep.
Someone that's in the background that's just doing the work. There's a reason why Leo and I are so far ahead of the pack in terms of almost everything.
Yep.
It's because we've had each other for years.
Yep.
We've just been, you know, us two compared to everyone else in terms of points total in the 74s, what we've done.
Yep.
Leagues ahead of everyone, and it's only because we've both been there. I say if there was only one of us there, it wouldn't be where it is.
No.
And that's why. But now we have that literally in almost every single weight class that everyone's going to be busting their ass to win that, and it's just going to push the sport in Australia to new heights.
We've got to keep it.
Yeah, we have to.
We have to keep it.
Especially if we're starting at a junior level now, like where are these kids going to be?
We've got 17, 16, 17.
Yeah.
You know, shout out Nick Lifting. That guy's sick. He's got a vlog on his own social media.
Yeah.
About his own lifting. That's where it's going. You know, like talking about modernising the sport.
Yes, this is a big thing.
This is a big thing. Like social media. This whole business in this building is built off Instagram.
Yeah, social media is massive, especially for powerlifting. We're not really viewed anywhere else.
It's not being used at the moment, unless it's individual clubs are using their Instagram. The community in powerlifting is falling behind because clubs aren't using Instagram together.
Yeah.
It's really easy to use something and get a whole sport involved and a community involved if we use it together.
Yeah, 100%.
Not separate areas where the separate areas don't know what's happening in the other area.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of bubbles.
Bubbles.
There's bubbles in powerlifting at the moment. You know, it just throughout states.
Yeah.
You know, we have. You know, Victoria's on its own, New South Wales kind of on its own, Queensland on its own. Everywhere's atmosphere and environment's completely different.
Yeah.
Until I didn't realise what it was like down in New South Wales until I went down there.
And now we want to bring all those New South Wales people up here for comps.
Yeah.
Let's go down for comps.
Or we go down there.
I'm going down there this weekend. You know, because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's important. We don't want to have these silos, and social media is the thing that we can use to break that down. You know, it's important because juniors, the future, social media, that's why they got into the sport.
Yeah.
We don't have the school systems that America has set up to feed kids into powerlifting. Yeah. They literally follow their heroes. So that's why you have so many juniors. They're just watching you lift.
Yeah. I think the other thing too. Yeah, like I love the way that APU's kind of divided state by state.
That's good.
We get to go rivalries in like Queensland versus New South Wales.
That's good. Yeah, that's
This is cool. But I think, honestly, we should do it as clubs at nationals.
Yeah. Clubs would be really good because that would give the club a sense of community and not divide the club with if they're a junior or a master and open or having masters and juniors away from the opens.
Yeah.
Because it's important because you know if I'll go back to you again, you've got a massive junior team.
Yeah.
They would love to come and see you lift.
Yeah.
See their coach lift. But if they're not at the same comp, they can't see their coach lift.
Oh,
then there's logistics of handling them. But Do you know what I mean? Like things like that. Those are the things that we want to think about.
Yeah.
Because then that is an athlete-centered approach. What do the athletes want when it comes to competing, when it comes to traveling, when it comes to social media? What do they want? What do they want to see to display their own lifting in the community? Because at the moment, if we don't have the athletes in the sport, I'm out of the job. So are you.
Yeah. They're all fucked.
We're all fucked. You know?
This is where a lot of coaches need to come together and gyms need to come together as well and talk about what they want to do.
Yep.
Moving forward together.
Yeah.
Not divide like there was when PA split. We've been there before. Okay, let's not make it the same fucking thing that happened.
Can't. It'll just kill it.
Yeah. What we have right now is phenomenal. Probably what we had 5 years ago, if we just kept growing on that, would be great. If PA just stayed as PA and we all stayed there, and it was always the IPF affiliate where people wanted to keep striving towards worlds and there wasn't that big breakdown, then we would be in a really, really, really good spot right now. But we've had the divide once, we can't go through it again.
I think, like, in any type of organisation, actually let's pop back to social media, talking about growing communities, ways we can grow communities. Celebrate the lifters with posts about lifters.
Yeah.
Put athlete results up. Put rivalries on socials.
Yeah.
Give women some type of comps, because at the moment there is women are in the open level, but I haven't really seen many junior women around.
Oh, there's a lot.
Down south?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking Queensland.
Queensland. I wasn't there. I feel like I'm a blue right
Nothing.
now.
I do not remember one junior at States.
Okay.
For women. You know? Celebrating females.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
not like males, females divide, just celebrating females in the sport in general. You know? Strong females, so they feel good lifting weights. You know, which is happening on social media. Giving them an avenue to be able to get strong enough to want to compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about like that.
They do shy away from competition because they don't feel strong enough, they don't feel worthy, they don't feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's about, just empowering them.
Helping.
Yeah.
Helping to empower.
Yeah, just to get, not push them towards anything they don't want to do, but then showing them that it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then as we said with the divide in the States, taking comps outside of your own gym. So instead of having comps in gyms, having comps in RSLs and community halls and things like that, where it's where exhibitions. Man, the Open. I remember in 2019 you competed.
Yeah.
The Expo Open. That was such a good comp. And having the comps in areas where people feel like they're welcome, because if I've never been to another gym before, like this weekend, I'm going to be nervous. I've never been there before. You know what I mean? But if we have it in an area where everyone is equal, then people will be more inclined to want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Things like that. And also acknowledging the work that people are doing behind the scenes on social media. There's a lot of work that goes into these organisations, especially the non-for-profit ones, because people who are working in non-for-profit organisations actually have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So they go home
from... They
don't realise that, and people don't take that into consideration, that these people are replying to your emails at 10 o'clock at night because they just sat down after a day at work.
Yeah.
I don't do any admin at home because I don't like it, because I've been here all day. So these are the things that we need to take into consideration moving forward, so people don't feel like they're giving for nothing.
Yeah. It's just hard. With what everyone's going to do is the hard part. Yeah, just because we need to stay together and we need to acknowledge that. That needs to be acknowledged more than anything. No matter how unhappy you are, and what grass is greener on the other side and all that. But
is it?
Yeah, is it? Like no one knows yet.
Is it?
We need to see kind of.
There's nothing worse than going to a comp and not having anyone compete against.
Yeah.
It would be, wouldn't that, I'm not an athlete, but wouldn't that be demoralizing? I can't say the word. Wouldn't you be disappointed if you went to a comp and you put in your best performance and there was no one there to beat? Or no one there to celebrate with and, hey man, good job.
Yeah, it'd be hard. I guess.
You've not even had that in a while.
Nah. I get that once a year. We get to have a little duke on the platform.
Yeah.
But I'm not even talking about like we can leave me out of it. Like I don't care as an athlete. I'll follow competition and I'll go where I want to go and do what I want to do. But I'm one person.
Yeah.
What my athletes do is up to them.
Yeah.
And where they want to go and who they want to, because they're going to want to follow their competition. Competition's going to want to follow competition, and if someone ain't done the job yet and they're chasing someone, like some of these battles that happened the other weekend at junior states, if someone goes somewhere, I know for a fact that the guy that I coach, the girl or whoever was in that battle, if they didn't win it, they're going to follow, and I'm sure the other person would do exactly the same because people chase competition.
They have unfinished business.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said probably like 5 times, we just need to stick together and make sure that it's voiced what everyone's doing.
Yeah. I think it's really important to acknowledge the power of social media.
Big time.
I don't think that's been properly acknowledged within, and I'm going back to it again, with posting and with people's opinions and things like that. I don't think that it's been understood what social media actually is in this community and how we can either make it a positive thing in the community or something where it is at the moment where it's quite negative.
At the moment, it's very negative.
It's been like that for a while. I think it's like, you got PA, APU, tested, untested, and you go into it's so divided, whereas, even the untested federations and people who are big in those untested federations right now are coming out on social media saying it's important that athletes speak about their drug use.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that there is different from a tested federation, that we acknowledge that there is another type of athlete when it comes to powerlifting and be okay in their presence.
Oh, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's walking into gyms and, this gym in particular, yes, is affiliated with a tested federation, but that doesn't mean that I don't welcome untested athletes in here.
I think there's always been this kind of stigma around like glorifying a tested and untested athlete in a way where if a tested athlete's lifted more than someone that's on gear, they'll always let them know. Kind of thing. Have you noticed that? Yeah, I go, I don't even touch this or whatever.
Yeah.
Mate, they don't even fucking care.
Nah.
They're doing it to lift weights, they're doing it for the same reason you're doing, they're just putting performance enhancing stuff in their system.
Yeah, which should be, I'm not saying go for it or whatever, I'm just saying it's happening.
It's part of the sport.
It's part of the sport.
We can't get rid of it.
Stop saying you can't go to that gym because it's, because it's untested or these people aren't real powerlifters or, you know what I mean?
No, it's the same sport.
You can't say that.
Same sport.
And again, it's just discrimination. So we need to use social media in ways that promote the sport, not demonise the sport or demonise athletes or, unprofessionalism as well. Make the sport professional.
Yeah, 100%. Professionalism is a big thing right now within the sport. There's a lot of unprofessional stuff going around.
Can't do that.
No. Not if you're in a very high level position. Be a bit smarter, I think. Or just be quiet.
Yep.
Especially on social media, because like we've said a lot, social media is very loud.
Very loud. Social media is very, very loud.
Yes, and if you make a lot of noise on social media, it's going to be seen and heard, and You just need to watch what you say.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's a powerful tool for anybody to use either in a positive or a negative way.
Yeah, 100%.
So people, and whether or not you like it or not, it is the way that people are communicating right now in 2022, and social media is the way that people are going to continue now and beyond.
Yeah.
I don't email anymore.
Nah, not unless it's needed.
Not unless it's needed. Voice messaging, instant messaging, things like that, that's the way it goes. I'm not saying that's how powerlifting should be run, but I'm saying that's how people communicate.
Yeah.
You know? So having modernised communication systems are super important. Acknowledging that people are watching you on social media and watching us as a business and me as a human being because I am involved in a sport is super important to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Any views you have, if they're presented on social media, is going to end up in a political debate, whether you like it or not. And I'm talking about views about anything. I'm talking about gender, race,
100%.
powerlifting, federations. It's all going to end up in a dispute. Politics. It ends up in a dispute because social media. People use social media as a platform for their opinion. Or to be heard. It's a platform for people to be heard. It's not a platform for people to be mates.
Yeah, so...
Advertising, business, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot... People like to use social media for different reasons,
Yep.
I guess. We just need to get back to where we were, I think.
So, in terms of understanding your community, I know you get to speak from a athlete and a coach perspective. And when we're talking about understanding your community, we're talking about looking after athletes, officials, and volunteers. So, and clubs. What are some solutions that we can come up with how powerlifting in general, or how clubs can understand their community to be able to express their gratitude to athletes, officials, and volunteers?
I don't know from a fact of like running a gym or a competition, because I obviously don't do that. I just coach athletes and compete myself.
Yep.
As an athlete, I've never not felt welcomed at a competition.
That's good.
Which is like I'm seeing a lot where people are just kind of saying the negative things, but I've competed for a very long time and I've never not felt welcomed.
I think that's one of the things that APU have done well. I felt really welcomed.
Yeah.
And I did feel really welcomed.
Yeah, it's little other things that are happening that are outside of the actual competition that I think are being more misled or miscued in ways that are making it look worse than it is.
Yeah. On social media.
Yes, because the social media is such a big tool. So I guess as an athlete, like not much needs to change.
What about being paid?
Being paid isn't going to happen unless you're going to Sheffield in the IPF, which is huge.
I think being paid could happen, but we'd have to make the sport a lot bigger than what it is, and it'd have to be recycled from fees, which is obviously paying anyway.
Yeah, you're going to get paid by, I guess, whoever's running the competition. It's going to be up to the meet director to pay someone, not up to the federation.
Yeah. So
that's going to be dependent on where you're lifting or what their choice of prize is. Some people will give trophies, some will give money. They both value the same.
Yeah, and that comes back to marketing and social media involving the community. It's this big whirlwind.
Yeah.
If you promote the sport properly on social media, get more people in the sport, there's going to be more money in the sport. There's more money in the sport, there's going to be more comps. There's more comps, there's more people going to be paid.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, if we talk about officials and volunteers...
saying thank you?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good one. Say thanks for helping to spot and load. Would be really good.
Yeah.
Offering incentives.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes all spotters, loaders and rest care about a bit of food throughout the day.
Big food. Get paid. There's so much food here on the weekend.
They just want some food.
Yeah.
They're sitting down for a fucking long time.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of meet directors do that 100%.
Oh yeah. We're not saying no one does that, but getting saying thanks. being offered, I had someone tell me yesterday what would be a good idea is offering officials a free comp.
Free comp?
Yes, so like if someone refs all weekend, the next comp that they do is covered by the federation or covered by, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, like their sign-up fee?
Their sign-up fee.
If they're a competitor.
Yeah, so then it gives them incentive to want to sit there all weekend because people are giving up their weekends.
Especially spotters and loaders, I think.
Yeah, big time.
Because spotters and loaders are generally athletes. Sometimes refs are just refs and tech desks are just tech desks.
Yeah.
Although tech desks are generally...
Refs.
Yeah, it's just part of everyone.
Yeah.
Some people won't care about competing and they're not competing. They're literally just there to help you and let you compete.
Yeah.
So,
or they've used to compete years ago and they just want to give back to the sport.
Yeah, they're giving back to the sport. A lot of the spotters and loaders though, they're athletes that are just there. Half the time they're there to support a friend, and the gym's been short on a spotter or a loader, so they've asked to put their hand up. Like I know James Lee's been asked 2 or 3 times now. He just went to go watch competitions and he's had to spot and load. He doesn't care.
So this is the thing where like sports like tennis have done really well, and I know there's a lot more tennis players than there is powerlifters, but the kids that get to go to the ball boys are young kids who really just want to see their idol play.
Yeah.
So then they get to go on the court and pick the balls up and watch their idol play. There's so many juniors right now who are huge, like stature-wise, massive. Why wouldn't an idea would be to get them spotting and loading, give them a free comp, and then they get to watch their favourite powerlifter hit a squat close up.
They get to take it off their back.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like things
miss.
like that, give the kids incentives to want a kid coming to the sport or paying to see, you know?
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, it's usually been free to watch powerlifting competitions. It shouldn't be free anymore.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the federation, something like that though, because a meet director can't offer someone a free sign up to another competition because they may not be the meet director of that next competition.
Yeah, if they're like pro raw, they pay $15. There's some sick battles there, man. Like, you know, paying $15 to go and watch 5 battles a day at powerlifting if you're really involved in the sport is nothing.
No.
You know?
No, not if you love it.
Yeah, and you get 1,000 people paying $15, there you go.
Yeah.
Then you can afford to pay people and afford to want people, but these things, if you ban people from doing things constantly, people are just going to leave.
Yeah, because people want to go and do things. They want to go and compete against other people in other federations and have fun.
Be with their friends. Not be stressed out.
Yeah, so
I think it's important to acknowledge for us as we don't want to see another divide.
That's the biggest thing.
We don't want to see another divide in a sport that is a minority sport that is already divided in so many countries, not just here. Yeah,
it's already divided in so many ways. We already have 4 federations.
In Brisbane alone.
Yeah, we already have two big sides in the tested and untested. Like it's a divided sport that we're just gonna make even more divided. As a tested side now, it's finally the biggest and best it's been, and most competitive it's been.
Yeah.
And I honestly just hope it stays that way.
Yep.
So we can continue to strive as a country, as a nation on the world stage to finally. We've never had a open male podium on the platform at Worlds.
And next year is the time where we have the biggest chance.
Yeah, we will have an opportunity. Potentially this year too, but next year for sure. Mm-hmm. As everyone gets back to Nats, powerlifting's been in limbo for the last 2 years with COVID. It's been all over the fucking place.
Yeah, it's been rough as a business.
Yeah, so
can't make it even rougher.
We've just got back to the platform recently, and now, and it's huge. What's happening is phenomenal. There's some great athletes that are coming through, great people that are in the sport.
Yeah, I've got some really good friends who are in powerlifting now from all around Australia. Yeah,
and we need to keep that together. In one way or another. I'm not sure what it looks like.
And from a business perspective, it's now that powerlifting, because COVID really increased online coaching. So it means that businesses or coaches like you and I, we have athletes all around Australia, so we want to go to all these different comps. And we want to be able to coach at all these different comps.
Yeah.
If we get divided again, it's going to put a stop to us being able to express how, coaches being able to express back into the sport.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very easy for a coach to think, geez, I don't want to be involved in this powerlifting anymore, I'm just going to go do something else and grow that community. You know, and we need to understand that at the end of the day, that people are trying to make a living out of the sport. And if the sport's not is divided again, and people won't go with the coach because they're in this federation or something like that, then we're just cutting off, you know, a growing people's income and growing sports through that income.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we've got our point across and how we feel about it. If you listen to this podcast and you have any questions about what we spoke about, please give Steve or I a message.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to be, because Steve and I are known in the industry, we want to be transparent with how we feel with the sport moving forward. Because transparency, I feel, is very important.
100%. We need to stick together in some way.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people are going to think like, you know, oh, the States have done it so well in their split with USAPL and Powerlifting America and everything that's happened there. You know, that's the first time they've split. We've already fucking been through it.
We can't do it again. And that is a consensus I'm getting for when I'm speaking to other coaches and gym owners in this industry.
They don't want to do it again?
No, we don't want to do it again. We do not want to split again.
Yeah. Good.
Because it's so stressful. Because it means that
you never know if you've made the right decision for one.
Yep, and I know now. I've already had the conversation with a couple of the top athletes in here, and half of them will go one way, and half of them go the other way.
Yeah.
And that means that as a coach, you've got people split under you.
Yeah. As an athlete myself, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I'm just relying on one person really to see what I do. I'll just stay there.
Shut up.
No, he already knows.
Yeah.
But then, you know, if that doesn't happen, I'm gonna go where
You're gonna go where the competition goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
and
where
I'm
the
gonna
competition
go where the
goes.
athletes are.
And
as a coach, as a business, I'm going to go where the athletes are. That's why, you know.
yeah.
That's the only reason we came over. Is I've told you is because we want to feel welcome, and there was no competition in PA.
Yeah. And
we literally came for that reason.
the thing is, I just hope it doesn't change where we're going as a nation and as the whole powerlifting community. Like I'll go where competition is. Like if I got to go somewhere to go and beat everyone on points, like I'll fucking go there. I don't care. But if I've got to stay here to beat one person, then I'll do that too. I stay where competition is. That's what I do.
All right, we're out.